Empathy. Empathy. That is what I want us to think about on this week's episode of Minutes with MinistaMike. Empathy. When you hear the word empathy, what comes to mind? This is what I want to come to your mind. When you hear the word empathy, think togetherness. Most times when you define empathy, you define it as putting yourself in another man's shoe. That's also it. But most people don't think that for you to put yourself in another man's shoe, you are choosing to be together with that person. You cannot say you are an empathetic person if you don't feel a sense of togetherness with the other. Together. That is empathy. When you hear the word empathy, think togetherness. If you want to feel empathy towards someone, you have to feel a sense of togetherness. We are together. We are one. We are one and the same. Different variant of human being, but one human race. Do you understand? That's togetherness. You have to feel it. So if you want to feel empathy in a particular situation, you have to feel a sense of togetherness. How can you be together with this person for you to understand them, for you to be able to understand them? And that is another word that comes together when you hear the word empathy. You hear the word empathy, you think understanding. When you hear the word empathy, you think understanding. How can I understand my neighbor? How can I understand my partner? How can I understand my colleague at work? How can I understand my boss, my leader? How can I understand my children? How can I understand my parent? How can I understand the world? How can I understand humans? How can I understand? Understanding. That's empathy. When you seek to understand another person, you are feeling the sense of togetherness with that person. That means you are walking towards being empathetic. You're walking towards having empathy. So if you want to develop the feeling of empathy, you have to think from the angle of togetherness. You cannot be together with someone and not feel empathy towards them. That's why people say that he keeps giving her or him leeway, because you seek to understand the other. That is the truth. You seek to understand the other. That means you will feel empathy towards them. Another word when you hear the word empathy that I want you to think about is fellowship. If I say have empathy towards one person, have empathy towards another person, I want you to think fellowship. That means for you to really walk in another man's shoe, you have to have fellowship with him. Do you understand me? For you to really walk in another woman's shoe, you have to fellowship with them. You have to ask questions. When it comes to fellowship, it's a ship of fellows. It's a ship of people that feel they are together. So when you decide to have fellowship with someone, that means you have to leave where you are to go to that person, and then you dine. You have fellowship. Fellowship is not only in the religious setting. It's brotherhood, it's sisterhood, it's humanhood. So you cannot develop empathy when you don't know how to have fellowship with another person. So one thing I want you to go and develop, one thing I want you to think about this week is, who am I going to have fellowship with? Especially this person that is always getting on my nerves. How can I develop fellowship with this person? How can I develop empathy? How can I develop fellowship? How can I be together with him so that I will have understanding of whatever he or she is going through? That's what is devoid in our lives most times. That is what we don't have most of the time. We don't have empathy. That is why we don't understand the other person. We don't know how to walk in another man's shoe. And that is why this video exists, so that I will teach you how. And one thing that you must do is you must leave where you are to go fellowship with the other person. In fellowship, you ask questions. In fellowship, you are open-minded. In fellowship, you query. You ask, genuinely, you ask, what is wrong with you? It's not about what is wrong with you. No, it's about what is really wrong with you. Can you trust me with your trouble, knowing fully well that I'm trying to understand them? I might not fully understand, but I'm trying to walk in your shoes. I'm trying to see, where is this shoe pinching you enough for me to know that, oh, this is the reason why he or she behaves this way. This is the reason why she or he behaves that way. Empathy, fellowship with, closeness to, chemistry. Those are words that pops up when you hear the word empathy. When you hear the word empathy, you think closeness to. If I say be empathetic towards another, I'm saying, can you feel closeness towards this person? You cannot have empathy for someone that you don't feel close to. Do you understand me? You cannot have empathy for someone that there is no chemistry between both of you. Empathy the chemical in your body must be released. The chemical that is being released, the dopamines or whatever chemicals that are being released when you feel the sense of friendship towards someone, is the same chemical that will help you feel empathy towards an enemy, help you feel empathy towards a neighbor, help you feel empathy towards someone that you disagree with. You cannot feel closeness towards someone and you continue to disagree with them. No. The more you feel closeness towards someone, the more you seek to understand the other person. Empathy demands work. Empathy demands humility. Empathy will demand from you that you be humble enough to know that, say, I don't understand him. Then since I don't understand him, then why will I judge him? Since I don't understand her, why will I judge her? Then you move from the level of judgment to the level of fellowship, to the level of togetherness, to the level of understanding, to the level of chemistry, to the level where you will indeed feel closeness to the other person. Empathy. So go to this week and try as much as possible, as it lieth within your power, to understand the other, to feel a sense of fellowship with the other person, to feel close to the other. Thank you, and we'll talk next week. Bye for now.